Surely you have heard many times about the Oedipus complex, the famous theory of psychoanalysis formulated by Freud and that explains the behavior of children towards their parents in childhood. But do you know why it has this name? Who was really Oedipus? Oedipus is a character from classical Greece. He was king of Thebes, a city located about 50 kilometers from Athens, which in ancient times was the capital of the region. His story was collected by several classical authors, although the best-known version was the one written by the tragic poet Sophocles in his Oedipus Rex around the year 430 before Christ. The legend begins with his father, Laius, the king of Thebes at that time. The monarch was unable to have a child with his wife Jocasta, despite trying for several years. Desperate, he went to the Oracle of Delphi, a sacred temple for consulting the gods, seeking a solution. Instead, he was met with a terrible prophecy that his son would one day kill his father and marry his mother. Impressed, Laius decided to keep the prophecy a secret and give up having children. But finally, one night, under the influence of alcohol, he ended up conceiving Oedipus. Laius feared that the prophecy would come true, and to avoid it, he decided to get rid of him at birth. He handed him over to a shepherd to leave him on Mount Cathaeron, but first he pierced his feet with the clasp of his tunic, so that no one would want to adopt him. However, our protagonist was lucky and was found by other shepherds who handed him over to Polybus, the king of Corinth, another city farther north. Since they had no children, he and his wife Merope decided to adopt him, naming him Oedipus, which means swollen foot. He grew up not knowing he was adopted and became a boy known for his great courage. But his companions made fun of him because they said that someone so intrepid couldn't be the son of the naive Polybus. To clear up doubts, he decided to go to consult the Oracle of Delphi, and he prophesied something he didn't expect, that he would kill his father and marry his mother. Frightened and trying to avoid the prophecy in every way, Oedipus fled from Corinth to get away from Polybus and Merope, who he thought were his parents, and headed to Thebes. But fortune wanted him to meet Laius, his biological father, at a crossroads. His herald ordered him to give way, but Oedipus refused, and in retaliation they killed one of his horses. This made Oedipus very angry, who ended up murdering the herald and Laius himself, without knowing that it was the king of Thebes and his own father. He continued on his way and he met the Sphinx. This, being with the face of a woman, the body of a lion and the wings of a bird, had been sent by the gods to torment the population of Thebes. It destroyed the crops, and to everyone it met, it would pose a riddle, and if they didn't succeed, they found death. No one was able to solve it, but when he found Oedipus, it asked him, "What is the only creature that walks on all fours at dawn, on 2 at noon, and on 3 at sunset?" And he answered that humans, because in his childhood he crawls on his hands and knees. When he's an adult, he walks on 2 feet. And in the evening of his life, when he becomes an old man, he uses a cane, which is equivalent to walking with 3 feet. The Sphinx went mad with anger and threw itself from the top of the mountain. Oedipus was received as a savior in Thebes. As a prize, he was named the new king and married Jocasta, widow of Laius and his real mother. With her, he had 4 children, Polynices, Eteocles, Ismene, and Antigone. Soon after, a terrible plague epidemic devastated the city. To find out the cause of this punishment from the gods, Oedipus once again consulted the Oracle of Delphi, who told him that the plague would continue until the murderer of the previous king of Thebes, Laius, was found and convicted. From then on, Oedipus began an arduous investigation and moved heaven and earth to find the murderer of the previous monarch. Finally, thanks to the help of Tiresias, a blind soothsayer, he discovered the bitter truth. He had not only killed his father, the king of Thebes, but also had married his own mother. When Jocasta found out, overcome with shame, she took her own life. Before her corpse, Oedipus took one of the brooches from her dress and gouged out his eyes with it. And as penance, he decided to exile himself from Thebes, only allowing his daughter Antigone to accompany him to help him. He wandered aimlessly like a beggar, until Theseus, the mythical hero who defeated the Minotaur, welcomed him to Colonna, where he died sometime later. Like many of the stories of classical Greece, the merit of the Oedipus legend is in the great symbolism it contains. Years later, it serves as a perfect representation of one of the most well-known and mentioned psychoanalytic theories of our time. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, and if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode!